In this lecture, we're having a conversation about collisions and assets, and we're getting ourselves some assets that are prefab, that are ready to go so that we can use it to make ourselves a level in the upcoming lectures. Let's get started. Let's start with a bit of organizing and tidying up. If you have a look at our first launchpad, it says launchpad. That makes sense because that's where you launch from. If you have a look at our second launchpad, it's called launchpad 1. That's pretty sloppy namemanship, if I do say so myself. What is that actually? It's not a launchpad. It's like the finish pad or success pad or target pad. I'll call it the finish pad. Not super happy with that name, but it makes sense. So when things make sense, functionality is more important. Finish pad, and do we have any colors of it? Have we created some materials, different colors? If I click into the Game Dev TV assets and the materials and textures, I see there's a Game Dev TV green. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. There's a start and there's a finish. They are different colors. That makes sense. That player knows what they're aiming for is the green thing. Finish pad. And then we've changed the name. I'm going to create that as a different prefab as well. So assets, and then I'll look for my prefabs folder, and then I will drag in the finish pad. So we now have that, and it's saying, would you like to create a variant? So let's see what happens if we click prefab variant. Cool, so we've got that. Next up, I'm gonna organize my hierarchy a bit. I'm gonna right click and create an empty. I'll call this environment. That's basically saying all the stuff in our world, the bits and bobs that I'm going to put in there that we have to dodge and move around and background and whatnot. I'm going to just reset the position of that. Just going to right click on position, right click on transform and reset the transform just so it's back in the middle. And then I'll grab all the things that are part of our environment. So what have we got? We've got the ground, that's part of the environment, drag that in. We've got launchpad and finish pad aren't part of the environment. They're sort of gameplay related, so we'll leave them out. So that means the only other thing is this weird object we've got in the middle there, the drop ship tank. Drop that in there as well. Now, what I like to do with my assets is throw a few assets around. So I've got them in my scene and I can use them as kind of Lego building blocks. So if we go into our models from the assets or wherever you've downloaded your assets, I need to put collision on these because at the moment they don't have collision. So anything that's going to be in the path of the player needs to have some collision. So let's choose a couple of things in here that we might use. I'm not really trying to make my scene look all that fancy and interesting. I'm just going to dump some general things in there. There's a bit of a box looking thing. Pop that back there. Get one of these pipe looking things. I'll just scale it up so I can see it. Did that scale it? Where are you? Pipe looking thing. There we go. There's a pipe looking thing. What else do we want? This big engine looking thing. You don't need to bring in the same things as I'm bringing in. I'm just getting some things so I can make a little bit of a level, a bit of a layout in here. Light glow stick thing. Some rocks. We'll chuck some rocks in there as well. That's a big old rock. Rocks are fantastic for blocking out the background and the walls and the side and saying you're not allowed to go here and not allowed to go there. That's a mega rock. Rock cliff thing. We'll use one of those. Okay, so I might add some more as I go throughout this lecture. I'm not going to explain every single time I bring an asset in there because you know how this process works. What I do want to do is click on one of these things. So I've got this big old rock cliff face thing. We need to put some collision on it. So what are our options for collision on this big old rock thing? Well, while we're clicked on the rock, we scroll down, click on add component. I've got a few things in here. I've started by searching for collision, or collider, sorry, collider. We've got box collider, capsule collider. You don't want to do the 2D things there for 2D games. That will only be in 2 dimensions. So on my rock cliff thing here, I'll add component. So box collider might work. If we click on that, let's see. Now it makes this gigantic box and we can go in and edit this. Click on the little edit collider, grab the little green handle things and move it around and shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. That's going to be an okay process if the overall shape is generally cubish in nature. So I'm going to deselect my box collider for now and find something else. Add collider. We could add a capsule, although it's not really a capsule shape. I think for this one, it might be more like a mesh collider. And so if we click on mesh collider, add it. For me, it's a little bit confusing because I look there and I can't see the mesh collider. I can still see the old box collider. I'm just going to right click and remove that so it doesn't distract us from what we're talking about here. And I've put a mesh collider on, but where is it? If I click on convex, now I can see what sort of collider it's providing for us. Convex is what you need to click on if you want something with a mesh collider to collide with something else with a mesh collider, but it's also a way for us to turn it on and see how it looks. And you can see it's added a whole bunch of extra faces. It hasn't added a zillion faces, not as many as the object itself. So if we have a look here, you can see that it's not going into that crack and in that crack and all that kind of thing. It's making it more simplified, which is good. It's more efficient if it's simplified. If it's got a zillion faces on our collision, then there's going to be so many calculations that Unity's trying to do. So we try to keep these things as minimal as possible, but if it's an unusual shape, often the mesh collider is the way for us to go. So I'm going to add that there for now. The other important thing I wanted to highlight that we didn't do when we put in our first, the other little object we had in our scene, is I was really sloppy. I put it in and then I scaled it and then I put collision on it a couple of times in our other levels. And that's a really terrible way of doing it. I was just doing it fast and loose because it wasn't important to have a conversation at that point. But now it is. What you want to do is put your object in before you scale it, add your collider, because now when we scale this object, the collider will scale accordingly with the object. But if you scale it first and then put the collider on, you're going to get all manner of issues and it's not so easy. And with low poly assets, one of the bits of magic is that we scale it. So we can just go, and it looks a little bit different to if we've gone, so it's quite important. And just one more time as a reminder, if I've got this as a piece of background, I think in one of the upcoming lectures, we'll do a bit of a conversation about set dressing. I don't need to have any collision on it. I only need to have collision if the rocket is potentially going to bump into it. So I'm going to quickly take a minute just to add colliders to each of my objects here. Click on this other, whatever it is, engine block looking thing. I'm going to put the mesh collider on that as well. Click on convex so I can see it. It shouldn't be more expensive to have convex clicked on, but once you're happy with it, you can unclick convex and we'll still bump into it. Let's do a test on that actually. That's a really good thing to test. Pop that in a general spot where my rocket would potentially collide into it. Click on play. Boom, there we go. It does what we expect. It's got a collision on it, but my rocket doesn't have a mesh collider on it. Although looking at how terrible that collider is, we could put a mesh collider on that. That's something we can do when we're fine tuning. I haven't fine tuned the collider on this at all, have I? But that's something we can get to later on. So the point that I've made about 17 times now is if we had a mesh collider on this and a mesh collider on that, then we'd need to have convex turned on according to the Unity docs, because then the two things can bump into each other. But if our rocket doesn't have a mesh collider, then this one doesn't need to have convex turned on, according to the Unity documents, as I say. Okay, let's put a couple more colliders on there. Just very quickly, what's this one? This one, the shape of it looks like it could be potentially a box collider. No, because it's got a weird shape to it. I could just put on a sphere collider on that one. I'm just going to scroll it down a little bit. You know, that's okay. Actually, sphere collider's not right there, is it? So I think we're going to need probably mesh colliders for all of these things is my gut feel. Mesh collider, if it's important that we actually bump into it. Okay, we'll do that for now. And this big object just here, we'll see what happens if we put a mesh collider on that as well. Yeah, it simplifies it a lot. So if it's just some general wall thing we're bumping into, then it's okay. And what was my other thing? This last object in here, I'm just going to put a standard old box collider on this, and I'll just take note that means I won't be able to fly underneath it. And if I need to fly underneath it, what I could do is add multiple colliders. So I could have this one collider down the side, another collider on the side there, another collider on the side. Mesh collider is just going to wrap it around the entirety of this thing as well, and we'll have the same problem. So for now, I'll just take note of that if I want to fly under it, I'll need to do a different sort of collision strategy, but it's okay for now. Okay, so we've got a few things in our world. I'm going to highlight all of these and drag them on top of environment, so they're now within my environment game object, so I can collapse them. It's a way of organizing and tidying things, and I'm going to find all the things that haven't yet been created as a prefab, and I will create them as prefab. So assets, click on the prefab folder, grab the first thing. The naming's all off. You can change the names if you want. They're all dropship handle. That doesn't make sense. Fighter engine. The names don't make sense for how we're using it, but we're using it effectively. So there we go. We've got our prefabs. I could delete all of these if I wanted to, and then I could drag them all back into the scene for my prefab folder. So there we go. We've got our things. Okay, and so from this point on, if you see a new object magically appear, so say, for example, I've gone into the models and I've grabbed this thing and dropped it in there, I'm not going to show you the process of adding collision because we've already talked about adding collision, so I'll probably speed that part up just so you're not sitting here watching me add collision to 50 different objects, just as a caveat. So if I need collision, I'll add collision and I probably won't point it out, so I'll delete that one for now. And I'll probably be adding more things here and there just to give my level a little bit of flavor. You don't need to make yours exactly the same as mine. That's really important. I want you to make things your way, not my way. Just going to take another minute or two to add a few more things into my scene in here, put collision on them and make sure they're ready for level building. And then I think we'll do some level building in the next lecture. So I'm going to drag in a few more things, scale them up so they're easy to see, and chuck some collision on them so I don't have to stop and pause and point all that stuff out when we're doing that in future ones. So I'm just going to pause the video now and then I'll show you the arrangement after I'm done. Okay, so here are the objects that I've brought in. I've prefabbed them all. I've put some collision, some of them mesh, some of them that are more boxy, I've just put a box collider onto, and I've put them all over on the side because I like to do it that way so I can see them arranged nicely and use them as a little bit of a library. And in the next lecture, we'll take some time to make ourselves a bit of a level. Okay, I'll see you in the next lecture.